2. This time we're gonna do a different opening to the mount, so we're gonna be here in side control again, and maybe she's been really difficult for me to get my knee up. She's fighting that hard with her leg, so instead I'm gonna go back base. Here, I still block the hips the same way I did before, and I'm gonna come over the top, I'm gonna collect, and I'm gonna go back base on her. From here, I should be able to now fight her legs with my hand, and she can't see me. I can drive up into her ribs a little bit here. This exposes her arm a bit, and it should give me an opportunity to calculate and step over. From here, I can just roll over, and I like to actually collect the arm and the head together because that's super mean. So, one more time, we're here in side control, right? And I'm fighting this. She's making it really difficult for me to get into this mount position, and that's where I want to go. So instead, I'm going to keep her hips blocked. I'm going to come over the top and drag this up. I can now back base. So I'm just switching my hips from forward to backwards, and this makes her arms a little bit less relevant here in this fight. I can now block her legs out, and in my timing, do a big step over. As I step over, I can drag her legs out, and I can slide myself up into this mounted position. All right, so as we get into this mount position, whichever mount we've used to take the mount, we're going to get into a place in mount where a lot of guys, as they're early in their mount attacks, find it hard to stay in mount, right? So I want to talk a little bit about controlling the mount and staying in mount. So one of the problems we have is when we get really tight in mount and we don't have any outriggers, we can get rolled. So we always want to make sure that as we take the mount, we're able to post out, right? So if you get too tight with both your arms, if you get your feet tucked in, you're gonna have trouble with that. Again, things like isolating an arm, getting it up will help stop that, alleviate that problem. But there are other things we can do, right? So as I'm in, I'm either gonna have my hands wide or I'm gonna have my feet wide, right? And in order to stay on top and not get rolled, if I wanna come in with my hands, I bring my feet out. And this is gonna make it so I can go one hand in and one foot out. Now I have the ability to keep her from rolling, or both hands in and both feet out, or both feet in. And now as I go in, I can start to do things that will begin to open up pressure. So as I bring my feet in, I can put the palms of my feet together, and I can start to drive in and make this really miserable for the person, just cook them a little bit. Kind of one of those principles in jiu-jitsu, right? If I'm on top, I can make her expend a lot more energy than I'm expending just to stay there and wear her down. So I want you to play a little bit with this position. Person on the bottom is gonna give some resistance, do some bridging, do some rolling, try to see if you can put some pressure on your opponent to make them post, and then try to work to where you have both some pressure in and some control. All right, so we're in this mounted position, same kind of like last week. We can review all these moves that we did last week with the head and arm and the punch choke and the shoulder lock and arm bar from this position. Today we're going to move from there into kind of a series that just ties right with it. So if we've gone ahead and we've opened the arm up with our hips and we've got her exposed here, she may try to fight this really hard. And as she does, and I've come under her head one way or the other, one of the things that I can do is now as she starts to fight it and we've got both her arms up, I can start to bring a knee over the top. Right? As I bring a knee over the top of her arm, maybe I'm here and she's fighting this and she's answering the phone, I can start to turn her and I can bring my knee over the top of her arm that's not inside. As I bring my knee over the top, now I can start to move forward, and as I do, I'm able to start to move my body with her. So as she moves around here, she can open an opportunity for me now to lean back and rotate my leg under for this mounted triangle. So what you'll see is as we come in, I've got my knee over the arm. So we start with the knee over the arm, but I've got to get the rest of her arm out. Right? So I collect the head and I base out and I lean over so that I can loop my leg through. I'm going to collect my knee right onto the back of her neck. Now I'm going to base the other way. From here, I should be able to come in, and I don't have flexible legs, and I have big, thick legs, and so I can't really lock this without killing her. I tend to just make sure that this elbow doesn't come out, and I collect here, and I just roll my hips in, right? So as I come in, I just bring my knee in and I turn. And it's this motion here. I come in and I turn my hips. You can see how that closes that space. So one more time from the top. We're gonna come in here, we're gonna expose her arm. She's not letting me get too deep into this, so I just get a knee over the top. As I get a knee over the top and I keep this collected, I can take her head, I can collect it up, base out, loop my leg around, switch, come here, and finish. All right, the next move for this week on mount is going to be started from this back base attack, right? So we're here, she's making it difficult to get my mount. I'm going to come back base here, and again, now even if she's blocking here hard, because I'm facing back, I can step over. From here, again, I can drive her legs over. And this one, as I come across, I want to trap this elbow. As I trap her elbow, I can come under the head. I might be able to just finish this right here, choke, just pressuring in. That's kind of rude and mean, but you know, do your thing. So from here, I might step over again, and I've got her head collected. I keep this arm tight in, and now I can come to the back of her head, and I can dive my arm underneath. I should be able to loop my arm through, and here I can finish this Stars choke by driving in. One more time from the top. We're in this side control position. I want to take mount. I come to back base, blocking her legs, step over. I drive my legs over and my arm over, twist her up real good. I could drive in for this choke if I want to. This might make her move a little bit and get squirmy. From here, I come up. I don't really want her inside elbow in, but what I'm really trying to do here is pull her up enough that I can dig this arm in. I collect her head, drive in deep with my hand. This should be able to hold her in enough that I can come in and squeeze this for the finish.